pictures of 50 Cent. He was locked up in 2005, and he took a 30-year plea deal for running a continuing criminal enterprise, CCE. Same thing that you went to prison for. He ended up getting 19 years altogether. His brother, Southwest T, got out a couple of years ago due to COVID. How was your correspondence with Big Meech like?
Well, he used to call me when I first got home from prison until the judge told me that I couldn't take calls from prison no more. So we haven't spoke since then.
Okay, what were the conversations like initially?
Just me telling him how I would do my time. Just chit chat. wasn't really nothing serious. I just got out of jail, so I didn't really have nothing going on. But we was just chatting a little bit.
Well, you were locked up before BMF even happened.
Correct.
When you look at BMF, do you see similarities in what you did?
I don't really know how they ran the operation. I know they were big from what I hear, but I don't really know how their operation ran. I know very little about them. Just the stuff you read in the newspapers. We never talked about drug dealing. Mostly talked about cases and how the law works, stuff like that there.
Well, yeah, I remember I partied with BMF in Atlanta, maybe around 2004. And I remember the thing that really shocked me was when we were leaving the airport, we started seeing billboards that said the world is BMF's. The fact that a major drug dealing crew would have billboards advertising the Black Mafia family. And it was so clear once we hung out, and I was at Big Meech's house and, we all partied together and everything else like that. It was clear that this record label that they were pushing was not a real business yet. It may have eventually turned into one, but at the time, they only had one artist, Blue Da Vinci, that wasn't selling any records. So it was just clear that this was all drug money. And I remember I talked to someone close to the situation. You know the whole situation where Puffy's old bodyguard, Wolf, got killed in a shootout with BMF?
Yeah, I heard about that.
So that happened at Club Chaos in Atlanta.
Right.
When they were, after Meech ended up beating his case, and they started putting up the billboards, one of the billboards was over that club, and it said the world is BMF's, basically saying a message to law enforcement that says we could buy ourselves out of murders. And that I heard really, really upset the feds. I was like, okay, these guys are just so blatant with what they're doing that they think they could actually buy billboards over the location of where a shooting happened. Like, okay, now we're going to go extra hard.
Well, the feds, I think I told you before, but the feds have what they call a pecking order. And they go down a list of the guys that they're trying to get. But I'm sure you start putting up billboards. I never would have put up a billboard, I didn't party either. So, most I would do is come to the party after the party over and pick up a girl or something like that there. But I never would be inside the club, hanging out, drinking and chilling like that there. So that totally was against my rules. But yeah, I couldn't see myself putting up a billboard. I mean, I didn't want nobody to know me when I sold drugs. I was kind of embarrassed that I even sold drugs. When I went into the game, like I said, I went into the game, and even though you're saying Superfly was fiction, in my mind, it was a blueprint of what a drug dealer should be doing.
Yeah. I mean, if one of your friends came up to you and said, hey, Freeway, we should put a Freeway Rick Ross billboard in South Central, what do you think?
I probably would have whooped him.
12 to 16, I went to juvenile 32 times.
32 times total in your life.
And Rollo would later admit in a Vlad TV interview that his father was formerly a big drug dealer from the Bluff and that he'd inherited the business from his dad.
His occupation was a kingpin drug dealer. Because I was around the people and all his clientele knew me as his son. They were just waiting for me to get some dope to supply them with. So as I grow older, The clientele was already attached to me.
Clearly, Rollo was heavy in the streets before he'd had an opportunity to make it in music. And like many other underdeveloped and impoverished hoods in America, gang activity ran rampant in the Bluff, with the crew that Rollo pledged allegiance to going by the name Famerica. In fact, Rollo's earliest post on Instagram is a picture of him wearing a Famerica t-shirt, something that the whole crew would do. On Instagram, Rollo would post countless pictures of himself with Famerica members or fam goons rolling deep in the Bluff and wearing matching Famerica tees. Clearly the fam goons were getting busy in the streets of Atlanta, as Rollo would boast on Instagram with pride, sharing news clippings that claim Famerica have been identified as Atlanta's #1 street gang. And even saying in a caption, "We ain't the biggest or the baddest, but I can say me and my young guys go hard. It ain't nothing to brag on, but the city of Atlanta titled Famerica the #1 street gang 2 years in a row," meaning there wasn't another group of people that went harder than Famerica. This ain't my personal opinion, this is something that's documented. Do your homework, you'll find out. Free the crew. #Famerica. Clearly Rollo was doing well for himself as early as 2012, posting pictures on Instagram holding wads of money that seemed to get bigger in every photo. And clearly Rollo had big aspirations in the dope game, like other legendary Atlanta dope pushers, because he would post the formerly biggest drug pusher in Atlanta, Big Meech, to his IG, along with a caption reading, "Fast cars, all the baddest bitches, they couldn't even add up all the paper homie was getting. Dude had a huge impact on America. Not too many people kicked shit like homie. Free Meech. Went from the hood to Hollywood." Whatever Rollo was doing in the streets was working, because by the end of 2013, he'd be buying people cars and spending so much money in Walmart, the cashier's hands were hurting. And eventually, he would take some of that drug money and invest it into his rap career, buying verses from the most iconic rappers in Atlanta music history, flexing every car, watch, and chain that you could imagine a rapper flexing, and naturally, flying all around the USA on private jets, with a whole bunch of fam goons and a whole lot of suspicious packages, trapping at the very highest levels before the authorities would finally catch up with him.
Yeah, because I remember the big announcement. You had the whole fleet. You got the private jet and shit. That was like what, 5 months ago?
Yeah, it was 6 or 7. I think it was November the 8th when that occurred.
Okay.
But you know, I just wasn't aware of the severe rules that the halfway house had. So I'm thinking when I get out of prison, I can go ahead and go do my welcome home shows, because you know I had seen Gucci do the same thing when he was released. And that shit just was a whole shit show. They wouldn't allow me to release on music. They wouldn't allow me to get on Instagram. They wasn't allowing me to get on no social media, period.
I seen a few posts though we had posted of you though.
Yeah, I was sneaking that shit out.
You sneaking
Every time you seen the post, I was getting in trouble.
So they was coming back like, what is this?
Yeah, like sending your ass back to prison. Every video I dropped, I got rolled up for. Even when Lil Baby pulled up and gave me the $50,000, that shit almost sent me to prison. Remember? But I needed that $50,000. So shit, I got that. I had to take that one to the chin.
Yeah, I seen you say that. So you said Lil Baby blessed you with 50, and you said somebody else too blessed you, right?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a long name, long list, and every time I say the list, they always tell me I left a nigga out. But you got your boy QCP. He looked out for me. He sent me maybe 75,000. You got Lil Baby sent me a 50 while I was in, and gave me another 50 when I got out. You got your boy Dirt. You got 21 Savage. He had gave Queen $40,000 for me. Shit, it's a long list of people. You know, Goldmouth made shower straight every 2 weeks. He put something on my book. You know, I actually had an idea, you smell me? Outside of the niggas that ran off with my money and, you know, did all that lame shit. Yeah.
So in the halfway house, you had a curfew?
Shit, you gonna come out. You come out to go to work and you go straight back home. I mean, go straight back to the halfway house.
So what was your schedule like as far as like work?
I just go to the studio every day. You know, I ain't got no job. I mean, later on, I had found out that I could have 2 jobs, so I divided. So instead of me spending the $400 a day on studio time, I started going ahead and spending like $200-300 because I was able to utilize my property as a construction site, and I was able to go over here and do the construction and stuff and build my hood back up.
Yeah. So first day out, it's what, yesterday, today?
First day out was Friday.
What you do? What was the first thing you did?
Got me some money, shot me some videos, got me a couple shows lined up. Called you, got me an interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get me some bags.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's go back to 2018, man. I mean, we could start with the first incident with the private jet. It was really 2 incidents, right?
Yes, sir.
The first incident, you weren't physically there?
No, sir. It was actually like 4 incidents that occurred. Y'all only seen one, which was the private jet that I got caught with. But however, I had 4 different counts. So like stuff was getting caught up, and you know, it's more incidents occurred way beforehand. You know, what occurred was they just got tired of the situation with me because of other crimes that occurred. One of my homies had they had a informant that was in Pakistan that was coming. He was praying with us. He was a nigga with tattoos on his face. You would never even tell he was the Fed. So he was trying to get to me. You smell me? He was trying to get up on me, but I might be with 1,000 niggas, but it's only 5 or 10 niggas that I really communicate with on certain levels. You smell me? And he kept trying to get towards me, and I guess one of my little homies told him, like, if you want to get with Rollo, you got to spend at least 100 or 2, at least 200,000. You smell me? So the nigga called the feds and was like, in order for us to get with Rollo, we got to spend, you know, abundant amount of money, and the feds the one approving for the money. So the feds said, shit, we'll give you the money, but we'll have to send an agent out with you. So they sent the agent out with him, and he was a white dude playing like he was an Uber driver. And the nigga who supposed to been spending the money with me, he got them in the back of the Uber. I'm not knowing this. I'm way in Cali. I'm in Cali handling the business.